Welcome back to another episode of this video. In this video section, we are going to learn about lowest common multiples and greatest common factor. So first off, we will begin with lowest common multiple. Just as a recap, we want to go over what is a multiple, and I'm pretty sure you must have watched the previous videos regarding multiples. A multiple of a number is result of multiplying that number by another number such as 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. For example, multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9, 12 and so on. Multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20 and so on. So now that we have learned what is a multiple, let us move on with what is common multiple. The common multiples are multiples that two or more numbers have in common. Example, multiples of 2 are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 and 18 and so on. Multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18 and so on. Now from the list we see the common multiples are 6, 12, 18, although there could be more common multiples between the two. So make sure you understand what it means by common multiples so that we can move on to the lowest common multiple. Now that we have known what is common multiple, let's move on to lowest common multiple, also known as LCM. LCM is nothing but the lowest of the common multiples. So in the example earlier of the multiples of 2 and 6, we have found out that their common multiples are 6, 12, 18. Now the lowest common multiple of the list would be 6, because 6 is the first multiple that is common between the two. So that's how you find lowest common multiple. So there are lots of ways in which we can find LCM of two numbers. The first one being listing multiples. So this method was already done in the earlier slides. So all you have to do is list the multiples of the two numbers in a row and find out which multiple is common between them and which one of the multiple is the lowest. For example, in this case, the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16 and so on. Multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24 and so on. And as you can see, the first common multiple appears to be 12, which is also the lowest. So the LCM of 4 and 6 would be 12. So that's how you use listing of multiples to find LCM. Let's move on to the next method, which is prime factorization. If you don't know what prime factorization is, make sure to check the video from the pre-grade 7 playlist about prime numbers and prime factors, which covers prime factorization. So in this method, what we do first is break each number into prime factors. So for example, 12 and 18 here. 12 when broken down into prime factor is nothing but 2 times 2 times 3. Similarly, 18 is 2 times 3 times 3. So first step is always to break down the numbers into prime factors. Then make a table that notes prime factors of the two numbers. So in this table, the factors of 12 are 2, 2 and 3, and the factors of 18 are 2, 3 and 3. Now you notice there is some space here. That is because if there is any common factors to both number, write it one above another. If there is no common factors, leave a space. So since 18 does not have any other 2 as a prime factor, so I just left a space. And similarly here, 12 does not have any extra 3 as its factor, so there is a space here. So now after writing down in a table to find the LCM, you have to note the prime factors. And when noting down the prime factors, you count the common factor as just one prime factor. So example here, 2 is repeating in both the factors of 12 and 18, so you just write it once, whereas the extra factor gets counted as it is. And similarly, 3 is also repeating in both the factors of 12 and 18, so you just write 3 here. And there's an extra factor of 3 in 18, so you write that down here too. And to find the LCM, all you have to do is multiply these prime factors here. So you'll get 2 times 2 times 3 times 3, which is 36. So that's how you use prime factorization to find LCM of the two numbers. Hope you understood it. If you have any doubts, let me know in the comment section. Let's move on to the next method, the division method. Now I know we have learned this heavily in class, so it's just a recap. In this method, what you have to do is first divide both numbers by common prime numbers. Continue until there is no common factor. After there is no common factor, divide each prime number without having to be both divisible by it, so that you are left with only ones at the end. Then multiply all the factors on the left to get the LCM. So let us find LCM of 20 and 24 using division method. In this method, you make lines like this, and on the left hand side you leave a space for the prime factors, and to the right hand side you write the number of which you are finding the LCM, in this case 20 and 24. Now first check if it's divisible by 2, because 2 is the first prime number in the sequence of prime number. So you find out that both 20 and 24 are divisible by 2. So if it's divisible by 2, then you write 2 on the left hand side and you divide 20 and 24 by 2. Divide 20 and 24 by 2, so you get 10 and 12. And similarly again, start with 2 and you'll find out both 10 and 12 is divisible by 2. You get 5 and 6. Now it is at this point you'll see that 5 is a prime number, so there's only one end itself that will divide 5, whereas 6 is a composite number and it still has some prime factors in it. So at this point there is no other common factors between the two numbers, so you can divide it by any of the prime numbers that can divide one of the numbers here. So the first one being 2, and when you divide it by 2, 5 remains 5 because it's not divisible by 2, but 6 is divisible by 2, so 6 times 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then in the next line here, you'll see that 5 and 3 are both prime numbers, and now they are not divisible by any common factors, but then they are divisible by themselves. So first we'll divide by 3, 5 remains 5, 3 divided by 3 is 1. Now next we divide both the number the number 5 here by 5, and you get 1, and the 1 stays 1. So this method you have to find the common factor first, and if there's no common factor, then divide the individual numbers separately by a prime factor and list the factors on the left hand side. After getting once at the end, all you have to do is multiply the factors on the left hand side. So it would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 5. So if you find the multiplication, it would be 120. So 120 is the LCM of 20 and 24. So hope you understood the method. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section.